Oh, baby. Hello again. This is the apartment. I'm Asif Ali. This is
Ali Baluch.
And my. Do we have a special? Ooh.
Special surprise guest.
Ooh, I had to interrupt my events.
You canceled a comedy show for this.
I had to cancel things to do this because you got a text message.
I got a phone call.
We got a phone call.
Got a phone call and the guest was like, "We'll be there in a few hours. We're flying in." And I'm like,
so you sent out that mass text being like, "Everyone cancel everything that you're doing."
I literally said that.
I'm flying out tomorrow morning, as is the guest.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Canada. I'm doing shows. Rick Bronson's House of Comedy in Edmonton.
Check him
Wednesday through Sunday. Come out.
Okay, awesome. And I'm doing nothing. So
perfect.
Yeah,
on brand. Very on brand.
Season 10 of Ridiculousness on MTV is going to be out real soon. So
and season 2 of Wrecked on TBS June 20th.
Awesome. So in this episode, we have our good friend Yusuf Arakat, fouseytube, come through. We really get into the journey that he's on right now, the journey that he's been on in the past year.
And where is he going?
We talk about spirituality. We talk about politics, surprisingly. We talk about homelessness. We talk about drama.
And self-love.
We get into a lot. Public relationships. So if you're new, this is the apartment. It's our chance to sit with our favorite diverse content creators, influencers, musicians, athletes, actors, comedians, and just hear their story. So get comfortable, grab a seat, and if you're driving, eyes on the road, and
you might
be
want to
safe.
pull over.
You might want to pull over for this one.
Pull over and just Postmates yourself food. Because it's
on the side of the highway.
On the side of the
by
freeway.
exit 13B. Enjoy. But before we get started,
yes,
we have to give a quick shout out to our sponsor.
Got to shout out to sponsor as always. Adidas. You got a problem, but you want to dress good at the same time.
Adidas. Okay. Enjoy this episode 26 with Yusuf Arakat. Damn, I got to do this off the top of my head.
You got to do it off the top of your head.
Okay. In today's last minute episode
of the apartment,
because we had no time to prep and whatever, but so this intro is
it's a real definition of a surprise special guest.
Oh my god, you're a first special guest. Surprise special guest. So today we have Yusuf Salah Arakat, also known as fouseytube. My man hit 10 million subscribers after about 6 years of grinding, ups and downs, roller coasters, over almost 2 billion views.
Not quite.
Oh, okay, but I mean, you're in the billions of views.
Damn.
So you've now
Step
established
your game up.
Yeah,
other dirty YouTubers.
What?
This man has become the most loved YouTuber, the most hated YouTuber. And
all in the same year sometimes.
And it's become this love-hate relationship. So everyone obviously knows who this guy is, but he's ranged from doing comedic family skets to pranks to social experiments to video games to a morning talk show to daily vlogs. He has a successful daily vlog, and he did a multi-city international world tour. DVD came out of the tour, documentary, and now he's on a journey.
Yeah, something new has happened.
A spiritual journey.
Hey, you didn't mention the movies.
Oh, he's done 2 movies. Medea's Halloween that he starred in.
Yes.
And he also did I Love You.
Yeah, but there's a 3rd movie coming out this year in theater.
Ooh.
And it's funny because I plan on going to the red carpet in whatever I'm wearing for this journey and the backpack.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
cool.
okay.
As like a continuation.
You know, I love the idea, but I feel like it's months away, and you might be excited right now, and I don't know if you should make bold statements like that.
Okay. In fairness, I understand. He doesn't want me to go back on my word, so I get it.
So is this going to be in October?
It is going to be in October.
When are you allowed to announce the...
They haven't even... we filmed it. The movie's done. It's for, editing right now. I think it's going to be a late announcement and then release.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you excited? 3 films.
I am. I am excited, but now, funny enough, I'm more excited about this journey than I am about that. Reason being, last year I was in my first movie, Tyler Perry's Boo Medea Halloween. I love Tyler Perry first and foremost. But what I found during that is... I counted down about a year for the release. the year finally, like the time finally came.
Yeah.
Got dressed up, got to take my mom down the red carpet. I had a euphoric night. But then that next morning, you go back to your real life and your real world. So what I found was that's not enough to fulfill me. That gratification that I'm going to get from walking down a red carpet and seeing myself on the big screen. And that's what I had been chasing my whole life. But if I wasn't good internally, and if I didn't love myself, and if I didn't have enough in my actual real world, then no matter how many movies I was in, I was never going to be satisfied. So the movies coming out this year, great.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to have so much more going on in my life where I'm fulfilled by so many different areas that the movie's just going to be in addition to how much I love my life.
Yeah.
Whereas I was waiting for the movie to come out so I can get to a point where it'll be like, now I love my life. So
That was a lot to take in.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. And I feel like, you know,
I haven't had a chance to, because these are not vlogs anymore.
Yeah.
So I haven't had a chance to just ramble like I like to ramble. So you guys are the first like
No,
diarrhea of the mouth that I got.
ramble away. No, it's just fascinating because I'm really trying to like recall in the last 12 months. You've done a lot in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
Why are you so grinning, man?
Because I'm very interested for those of you who don't know, this man filmed all the fouseytube pranks. This man was behind the camera. This man was grinded with me to 9 million subscribers. This man like was with me and invested a lot in me. And I at first, like, I personally feel if there's one person I let down, and I don't want you to like say anything, it would be this man because of how much he invested into the journey. So you saw me grind, you saw me fall, you saw me grind, you saw me fall, you saw me grind, you saw my life go crazy. So now I'm interested, like, what you think about what in the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
If you believe my authenticity in this, if you believe that like I actually give a crap about what I'm doing, or if you're like, I know Fousey and something, I'm just interested to see what you think.
Okay.
Ooh, just got flipped on your ass. Here we go. Yeah. Here we go.
Well, I feel like it'll come out in the
Okay,
questions,
that's fine.
you know?
That's fine.
No, but yeah, it's been an interesting few years watching you progress, you know?
Yeah.
Bigger and better. Bigger and better.
Yeah, you know?
Always.
I feel like a lot of people might have just gotten tired of you in my position, but like you remind me a lot of my cousins, my family that I've been around. So then I was like, oh, he's just like a cousin, you know? And I feel like that relationship that we had was just very familiar. Family, like I was trying to
Familial?
say familial.
Yeah, that's the word.
That's the word. So yeah, like it was interesting. It was a very love-hate relationship that we both had for each other. We shared tense times and some great times, you know.
Yeah.
How much thought did you put in before you decided to go on this journey that you're going on?
None at all.
It was just
None
immediate.
at all.
You know,
Wow.
I kind of got that sense because I met you up a week and a half ago.
Wait, but you mean a week and a half before?
No. Like whenever we were at the barber shop. So how was that? Like a week ago? It was during this thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, where are you going next? Like, I don't know. I'm like, who are the people you're gonna meet out with? You're like, I don't know. And I'm like, damn man, you really didn't give
cutting
this.
it close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Okay, so you know, but before that, okay, so yeah, this year it's been wild.
Yeah.
Literally from the past 12 months.
Yeah.
I've been like a viewer because I got caught up with work and we've been away we maybe see each other once every few months, but watching in and being like an audience and a viewer, the past 12 months has been wild. I mean, just through the drama, you know, last year, I think it all in my outsider perspective, some guy, you were coming back to LA with Alex and Lauren. Something happened on the plane. Someone stole Alex's camera.
Yeah.
TMZ happened. And then you just like shot up,
Yeah.
you know, and then it was like this crazy wave you're riding. And then like Rice Gum, the drama channels, the war that you went down on, it was like this 3 months of like chaos. And then that led to you disappearing October. Was it? No, it wasn't October.
No.
Because that led into, because then you went into your tour, and then the tour with all the other YouTubers that you're beefing with, the drama channels. And then the only reason I thought it was October is because you're supposed to promote a DVD that you kind of just disappeared. So from like New Year's on, you were gone. So those few months, those like 6 months, from like June of 2016 till December, it was wild.
100%.
Literally, you were the most hated YouTuber.
100%.
And what happened in those 6 months? And
What'd
then,
you do?
And then literally, and from like June till December, what was going on in your life? And then from January till today, what happened? Because you were gone.
That could be an hour-long answer, you know? Because they're just, you know, for us to dissect last year, oh man, because every action had a reaction, so I would have to break down each and every one of those. The best way I can put it now, looking back, I've always been a fan of self-destruction because my depression loved that. The bipolar side of me loved that, whether I liked it or not. I got like happiness from girls hurting me that I was dating. That's just, let's put it that way, you know? And I'm not saying that that was my positioning in this, but I'm just saying I do that whether I know it or not subconsciously. So the rice gum thing was just spur of the moment. Just like this one. I was just like, oh my goodness, you know what we could do when we control all the drama channels, and it turned into something much bigger than even I expected it, you know, to be. But then I took that opportunity and all the eyes that were on me. Like if I walked away from the rice gum thing, people would have forgiven and forgotten like everything else. But then I came out with a really, really, really long video basically saying pranks are fake. Social experiments are fake. Here's the blood off my hands. Like, let me walk away from this. And then I also was condemning every other prankster in person on YouTube. So I was like, it was something I wanted to do for myself and free myself of it. Like I wasn't even like confessing to you and telling you what I did. It was myself. I hated it. I hated it. I couldn't like what I was doing. I couldn't love what I was doing, and I hated it. So I came out and I did that. But while I was doing that, I also addressed all the drama channel names and Philip DeFranco at the time. And it just started a war with each person. Now, what I found is, and I learned this the hard way, a war with somebody who, and I'm not dissing anybody here, but a war with somebody like who runs a drama channel is a war that can never be won. Because the more you throw at them, the more ammunition you're giving them. So if I flip out on Twitter, boom, they got more content, more views. If I say something in a video, boom, more attention to them. Whereas I don't want them talking about me, but they love when I talk about them, no matter what it is, good or bad. So it was a battle that I had just accepted defeat on. But when I joined that battle, I 100% was just trying to show a positive side to YouTube and a positive side to myself. But I couldn't hold on to all the lies and the deception that I had within me and all the hatred that I had for myself while trying to show the world this new Yusuf who I'm now showing everybody during this journey. So I had to literally kill myself, subconsciously, whatever, kill myself, kill what people thought about me, kill my career, kill my ego, kill everything in the process to be able to walk out of that. And that's what I can say that whole thing was about.
Sort of like cleaning the slate. Cleaning the slate.
And, you know, just, you have to lose it all to be able to see what you had and to be able to look, like, understand where you're going. And by the end of it, you know, by that time, I found myself just defeated. I didn't have it anymore. I couldn't. It was hard. It was draining. I just couldn't do it anymore. So I did what I always do. I quit YouTube. I quit YouTube like once a year, except for this time, I was serious. And when I say I was serious, so fallout with my agency, which is big because I was in one of the top Hollywood agencies, fallout with my management, let go of everybody who I had, change my social medias from fouseytube, which is a huge brand, to Yusuf Arakat. Deleted all my stuff off my socials, put Dose of Fousey vlogs on private, went to my mom, told her I had quit and it's time to find a new career. And when little kids would come up to me on the street to take a picture, I said, I don't do that anymore. Because I hated who I was as fouseytube and I couldn't live on with it. I wanted to now live as Yusuf where nobody gave a crap about me.
So, I mean, and 2 days ago, whatever, you're in San Diego, you were talking to this guy outside and you said basically like, you're telling the guy outside of Vaughn's that why you began the journey and you're talking about the drama.
Shout out to Vaughn's.
Not sponsored. And you're talking about like the drama that happened. And then you said you became someone you weren't. What did you mean by that? Like during that time?
I mean, I'm not gonna even bring up the fact that I found myself like enjoying money or wearing gold chains or walking around or anything of this. I'm saying I became someone I'm not, where through my YouTube career and through everything I was going with, like I became unconfident, unhappy, unloving of myself, feeling unworthy of anything in my life. And when I thought back to an older version of myself, bro, I loved myself.
Yeah.
I was confident. I would talk to anybody and everybody. When I talked about a goal or a dream that I wanted, there was nobody that can tell me I couldn't attain that dream. Like, I would laugh at you if you told me like I couldn't hit 10 million subscribers even when I had 0, because I know whatever I set my mind to, I could. But I got to a point where I no longer believed in myself, no longer believed in what I was saying, no longer believed in even how I looked. The reason I didn't want to take a picture with people wasn't because of I hated fouseytube, but it was also because I knew they would post that and it would be on the internet forever. One day I would be on the internet and see that, and when I saw myself, I would hate myself. I didn't even like looking at myself anymore.
Yeah.
I was done. Just done. And I knew I needed change. But for the first 3 months, January through March, like you're saying, you want to know what I did? I stayed in my apartment by myself every day. I would sleep at 5 a.m., wake up at like 6 p.m., play Zelda Switch until like crazy hours.
Yeah.
I would go to the gym religiously, and I would just stay to myself. I was in great shape, but I wasn't doing things. Stay to myself in my apartment. So I would just sit on my couch every day and do nothing. You know, Simi, working with me at the time, would come into my apartment every day, and I would be doing the same thing, and she would see me like that. I was wasting my life away, waiting for something to change, waiting for something to change, waiting for a breakthrough, praying for something to happen in my life to show me my next path, and it just wasn't coming. And the more days that went on, the more I was hating myself for it, because I was like, you know, you start getting angry. You should be grinding. These people are passing you, all this stuff. And it was just hatred. I finally did get to my breakthrough, but I'll wait for you guys to see if you can get it out of me in this interview. And the question, how did you get to your breakthrough, doesn't get that answer.
Okay, well.
But continue. I'm loving your questions.
How personal can I pry right now?
Oh, you can go as far as you want.
We can cut this out if you're like, that's
You can go as far as you want.
You brought up Simi, and you were very public about something. You said
You said I can go.
Oh, this man is wild.
Look.
Yeah.
This man is wild.
You brought it up, man. You brought it up.
We can cut this out.
No,
we don't.
Keep going.
Okay. You know I wouldn't be disrespectful, but
Of course.
you brought up a good friend of all of ours. You were very public about your feelings towards her on social media. Do you? I mean, like, you're very open. That's your thing. You're like the most open person that I personally know.
Mm-hmm.
And do you feel like you're a little too open with that situation with your personal life, and that if you could go back?
You know, during that, somebody who really helped me through that was Humble the poet. Shout out. He like saved my life this year. He would always remind me, he was like, yo, just want to say your feelings are temporary. What you put on the internet is going to be forever. And he would constantly remind me of that. Superwoman texted me, and she's a friend who will tell me when my shit stinks. You know, she's not going to pretend. And she straight up said, do you really think like this is stuff you should be putting on the internet? Like, why? Have you asked yourself why? Because she knew I wanted to change and do stuff. And she was like, this isn't, you know, cognizant of what you're saying you believe in. And my answer to her was, throughout all of this, since I started YouTube, my go-to through all my feelings, through everything, my coping mechanisms, my little feelings of
insecurity.
No. My feelings of serotonin that I needed to build up, whatever it is when you get that ping, came from me tweeting, came from me Snapchatting. Why I felt the need to do that, I have no idea. But whenever I felt something, I just found it that I got through it by tweeting, posting stuff on social media, reading responses. It made me feel like somebody was there, like somebody gave a shit. Because I wouldn't call you and be like, yo, let me talk to you about what I got going on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call you and tell you that. But I would talk to them because they're not right there in front of me, and they still love me and support me unconditionally. So, yes, I mean, I've always put it on the line. I've always put it out on the line. And, I don't think I can change that. Now I'm more aware of what I post. And I'm just like, you know, I really just, I'm not just going to press send like while my fingers are trembling with anger. So I'll compose myself, but I still like to be honest and be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Wow. How do you feel now about that whole situation? Not that's true, but like the relationship.
No. Whatever happened through that was the best thing that ever happened to my life.
Okay.
And Humble kept telling me that. And he kept saying, yo, you're feeling this now. I guarantee you're going to look back and thank God, thank the world, thank everything for this happening because of where you're going to get when you get to the other side. I didn't want to believe that. I didn't. I was like, no, that's BS. I don't want it to. But
yeah,
yo, I got to the other side. And let me just say,
it's nice.
It feels damn amazing.
The grass is greener.
The grass was so green when I walked through there. The grass was green. Like now when I look back thinking where my life could have gone or what would have happened or anything, how something so small was, you know, going to do that. But no, that situation did so much for me because it gave me what I needed. It gave me what I was looking for. I thought life was just shoving me on the ground more. Nah, life was saying, yo, we're beating you up right now because we know how strong you're going to get up out of this. And now what evolved, what flower blossomed out of this, you see it. I'm living it right now.
You see him in a romper.
You see me in the romper. You see me taking, you know, really big supporters of mine to the NBA Finals game. You see me trying to help people out on the streets. That was it.
So you feel like you've gotten back to the essence of what you wanted to do?
Oh, man. I love myself so much right now, and I don't mean that in an arrogant way.
Yeah.
I mean, I love myself in the sense of this whole interview, I've been looking at you dead in the eye,
Yeah.
whereas in the past, I would be looking down because I just felt insecure, self-conscious looking at you.
Wow.
So it got deep.
Self-love is,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people label self-love as arrogance when it's so important because you're not going to be able to appreciate anybody else or be able to give anyone that love if you don't have that love for yourself.
100%.
So I know it's great. So I don't know if it was last night or the night before you were at your brother's and you were talking to your brother about, you know, you were saying like the hype around this journey is worrying you because you're afraid of the relevancy or if you'll fall off.
Is that what you took it as? I'm not saying that's not what it was, but I'm saying, is that what you took it as?
No, what I took it as was you're worried that it's like, okay, people care, but then the audience just won't give a shit.
Okay.
Maybe after like however long. And you're worrying like, I don't know, do you feel like there's a battle between like what you're doing and like the viewership or the audience?
What I felt like I was saying by that was this. Me and Daniela have big plans for this.
Yeah.
Like big plans. And we want to start our own charity. Yeah. And we want the people to be involved in that charity. We want, you know, because people are like, kids on the street today were like, let me give you money. And they were like, how can we give you money every 2 weeks? Because they love the adventure part of this and like the journey.
Yeah.
But we're trying to do something so much bigger. So what I don't want to happen is they like this right now because it's cool, it's fun, it's new. And by the time I figure out how in the world I'm going to help and make the world a better place like we intend to, they're not interested anymore in terms of that. And I feel like it's not a bad worry and it's not a nervous worry of like, oh my God, you know, I'm relevant again. I need to do this and that. It's just my love for this project is so strong that every single thing about it matters to me. From the smallest comments to the biggest comments, I've never been more invested into a project like this. From the, like, you know, and like I'm involved in all of it, like the filming of it, the directing of it, the editing of it, like night and day. Like I have just energy and I've been going on this, you know, so the uploads, the processing times, the comments, everything. This is me. This is like I'm invested. So that's why I just care for it.
Yeah.
Wow. How does it feel like to have that kind of energy back again?
It feels, so the last time I felt this was 2011 when I launched YouTube. And then again, when I was with him and I would talk about a new prank. Because when I would get a new prank idea, I'm going to say this. Like people always say you can't make viral videos. But when I was making those pranks, I knew they were going to be viral because of the energy that I felt while getting them. So when I got an idea that made me tingle and I knew that I needed to create it, I believed in it. And I had that for every prank. Like everybody knows me. When I get an idea, I stop and I go like this. I walk away, I walk around, and they're like, okay, what is it? And then I just give it.
Yeah.
And I haven't felt that for a long time, and I felt that with this. And I feel it every day, and it feels amazing. So I don't eat most days, and I'm good.
Yeah.
I just have energy. I'm good. Yeah. I'm ready. I want it. Like, I get it now. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
when you were in San Diego, you're standing on the cliffs with that kid that YouTuber Tanner, and you said I've been living scared my entire life. And so what has fear restricted you from doing?
Everything.
Like what?
Everything. Because having fear in your life and accepting fear into your life, you're walking with fear. So every step I took was with fear. So literally everything. Breathing with fear, eating with fear, walking with fear. You're walking with fear. So that's going to change everything you do, how you talk to people, who you approach, the risks you're willing to take, the jobs you're willing to go for. If you live with fear, you're restricting yourself from everything that there is for you in your life. Everything. Fear is that moment where you're sitting at the bus stop and you see somebody good looking and you say, man, if only I went up. Or you create a scenario in your head where you do go up and talk to them, but you never do it. You know, fear is knowing that there's a position that you're good for, but you're too scared to go for it because you feel like somebody else is better than you. You're not deserving of it. No way. You can't pull that off. Fear is going to a store and seeing a dress or seeing a piece of clothing that you love and you want to wear it and you know you look good in it. And when you wear it by yourself, you love it, but you're scared of what other people would think.
So what about like real life scenarios that fear crippled you from doing things?
Love was a huge one. Okay. Going up to people that I wanted was a huge one. And basically, it just limited. My biggest fear, it's funny, my biggest fear was dying without living to my full potential. Because I always knew what I was. I knew that I always looked at a potential of Yusuf and the Yusuf I was. So fear kept me here in all regards. Whenever I got to a big point in my vlogs, I dipped. And I let it crash again just so I can build up again. Because whenever it got a little too big, I got comfortable and scared. Yeah. I got scared. So fear kept me in my apartment for 3 months, crippled.
So it hurt both your public and your private life.
Everything.
Wow.
Everything. Fear was me not being able to look through my Twitter comments because I was scared that I would see somebody saying "F you, die." You know?
Yeah.
Fear was making me not accept everything. Changed my life.
Did success scare you?
Success?
Yeah.
Success, it didn't scare me before, but it did hurt me in so many ways. Success, destroyed me. Because success isn't always good. It's not always celebratory and good.
It comes with the whole
what I found was there was a period of time, and me and Daniela were talking about this recently when she was helping me with vlogs and stuff, where there was a time I was posting vlogs, getting 1 million views a day, but 90% of the stuff was negative. Not 90, that's unfair to say, but so much of it was negative. I was creating content for people who just did not like me.
You're feeding the beast.
I was feeding the beast. And you could look at my views and be like, he's successful, he's making money, he has 1 million views. But it doesn't mean it was good. So
yeah. You said so going to your journey right now. You've talked about this. I think you mentioned it in one of the episodes that you had. Your first coming out video where you talked about your journey.
Yeah, walk us through that mindset of that, how you were feeling and what you were thinking before you were like, what, I got to talk about this.
That and then a follow-up is you labeled it, or you said I'm going homeless, and you've said that you shouldn't have labeled that. So just go through it all.
Yeah.
Okay. I was supposed to move into a house with Alex and Aaron. And the day we were supposed to move into the house, it's crazy what life does. We were supposed to move into a house, and then literally on the day of move-in, the owner says, I'm not giving you the house, because he saw a video of Alex on YouTube doing something, and he was like, I'm not, this house was phenomenal. It was bomb. It was huge. It was ridiculous. It was the lifestyle that I loved, So we lose the house. Alex and Aaron continue.
He just pulled it away completely.
Pulled it away. The day my lease was done. So Alex and Aaron started looking right away for new houses. So I'm sitting in my apartment. Everything's already packed up, right?
In an empty place, like the end of a sitcom.
Yeah, everything's packed up, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, okay. And then me and Alex and Aaron go to the movies that night. This all happened that night. I'm sitting in the movies, and I couldn't get my mind off of it. And it called me back to a time where I was at my parents' house in San Diego, and I didn't want to say this because of my new direction I'm going in.
Yeah.
But I was under the influence of marijuana. And while I was on that high, I typed a bunch of notes to myself on my phone, went to sleep, woke up the next morning sober, pulled out my phone, forgetting what I wrote, looked at my notepad. In capital letters was paragraphs to myself saying, leave LA. Your unhappiness is in LA. And it was just stories to myself, like, you keep doing the same thing over and over again. You keep going through the same vicious cycle. Your life's not getting better. Each year is going to pass you by, and you think that you're going to beat these mental illnesses. You think you're going to beat this wave of depression that comes every 4 months. You're not. And then I went on another huge rant about needing love in my life. And my initial plan was to move to New Jersey and be back with my family. So I called my mom, I think a little while ago when we were just talking about it, and I had told her, like, after that San Diego time, that I was going to go to Jersey, and then finally decided I wasn't going to do it. But when I was in the movies, I was thinking about that, and it called me back to that, and I was like, huh. I had the moment that I have, and I realized I need to get out of LA, but not in the way that I intended to. I looked at everything that I had around me when I was packing, and every item I picked up, and I was like, dang, I haven't used this in like 2 months or 2 years even, but I'm going to keep it anyway. I'm going to take it with me.
Yeah.
That item was unnecessary in my life, wasn't making me happy, wasn't fulfilling me, as everything else wasn't. The fame, the money, all that stuff, it wasn't fulfilling me. So I had the idea right then and there, get rid of everything. Okay, what's next? You need to step out of your comfort zone. So you got to not renew your lease in your apartment, because my initial idea was you're going to sleep at friends' house and YouTubers' house and fans' house. And that was going to be it. That was my initial idea. That's what I was going to do. Yeah. To step out of my comfort zone, to be able to talk to the people I want to talk to who I wasn't able to. It was a way to help myself, but also take them along with the journey. Yeah. And then within the next coming days, I ended up talking to Daniela about it. She loved it. And literally, here's what happened. And it's funny because it recalls me to a video that I changed last second that I did with you, the public rape experiment. And then it was actually you know how that went. As we're walking to film the video, I ran into somebody. So I was talking to George Jenko, and then right then and there, as we were talking and I was explaining to him the idea very excitedly and telling him that I wasn't going to spend any money of my own, I was like, but that's so unfair. And I there was one missing piece to this journey. And me, what I should have done, waited a week, thought about it, slept on it, asked peers for advice. I don't do that. So George was like, freeze your bank accounts. And then when he said that, I was like, oh, and then when people give me money, I'm going to double it to charity. Yeah. The $100,000 was already pledged by me. I was going to do that regardless, whether or not this was part of it or not. But when he gave me that, I was like, oh, perfect. So when we walked there, it just changed the concept in my mind, changed what it was. And I ended up going with, Dear YouTube, I'm homeless. But it was, when I said homeless, it was never to be insensitive to the people who are homeless, the homeless community. Yeah. It was in the sense of being homeless. And I'm not going to lie. Like, I could have, Dear YouTube, I'm becoming a minimalist, but that's all in hindsight. I didn't realize that until after I posted it. So there was really not much thinking that went into it. So there wasn't a reason it went up, but there wasn't much thinking into how people would take it. Yeah. And that's why they were like against it at first. But after they saw what's going on, they were like, all right, Yusuf, you messed up. You shouldn't have said homeless, but now that we see what we were doing, we respect it. Yeah. And we're a part of it, which is what I wanted from the beginning. The first episode should have actually been the first episode and not even the Dear YouTube, I'm homeless.
Now that you've been dealing with, and you've been out in the streets, that you've dealt with many homeless people, what have you learned? Anything that, misconceptions that you've had?
You know, misconceptions, no, but it's just, I wouldn't say what I learned, but it's just how much my eyes opened. Okay. Because when I walk around now, like I was at I don't want to throw anybody under the bus to make myself look better. So that's not my intention here. Yeah. But when I was walking into the finals game yesterday, I saw many gentlemen who reminded me of myself right before this. And they had like their gold chains on and they looked good and they were flossy with their best outfits. I was wearing this at the finals. Yeah. Something I never would have done before. And what I felt by being outside in the community more now and not allowed being in a house and walking around is a lot of people just don't give a shit. And they care about themselves and their circumstance. And they look at situations like the people on the street and their first inclination is, thank God it's not me, you know? And they just want to avoid themselves from that. And the reason for that is there's so much of it that people in their heads started thinking, if I help this one person, it's not going to do anything because there's so much more. I'm not going to cure homelessness. Why am I going to help? And also another thing that pops up into people's heads is, the last time I gave a homeless person money, they did this, or they were ungrateful. How many times has somebody come up to you and been like, I just asked that homeless person if they wanted money or if they wanted food, and they said, no, they want money. How ungrateful, So they're like, I'm not helping homeless anymore. And I really caught on to that when I was walking around, because in your head, you sort of get frustrated and you're like, there was times where I was walking with Daniela and we were doing something, and I look around at other people having fun. I'm like, why aren't they doing anything? But I had to, no judgment. That's the number one thing I have now, no judgment. And I was like, I was doing just the same. I can't judge them. I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. That's a huge thing. People might not do things in the public like I'm doing, but they might be the biggest contributors behind the scenes. So you just got to be not so quick to judge.
Wow. So, you've been doing a lot of video series regarding homelessness, and there was like this fad basically that overtook YouTube with homeless videos.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, and they were exploiting people for views. Do you feel like you're exploiting people in like serious circumstances for views?
Wait, you mean right now with what I'm doing now, or what I was doing?
We could do both.
Oh, okay. Well, what I was doing, I never looked at it like this is in the past videos. I never looked at it as me exploiting them, but combined with me knowing that I was doing something good, of course I had this is gonna do good.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like, and I still feel like that's wrong because my intentions weren't pure. YouTubers asked me today, what's the best advice you can ask us or give us? I said, don't force it, because they're doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And what I deepened into that, I'm not talking about don't force a joke, don't force comedy. I said, don't force it, and don't do something for the camera, even if you're, like if it looks good, if your intentions aren't pure. Don't do something for the views. Don't do something just for for the sake of views, because I've been there. It's going to make you unhappy. People are going to see right through it, and it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
Had I launched this project back then, people probably wouldn't have felt the authenticity that they feel now in believing what I'm saying. So when I do it now, the reason I was like, wait, now is because hell no. I'm 100% invested into this. And it's funny because I found that to cure myself of my self-hatred and my everything, I had to give out all this love to other people. And I haven't been happier since helping people. So now it's like a general thing that I want to do, but my help isn't only homelessness, and that's what I hope to expand on this journey, going to the Middle East, going to Kenya, going wherever we're gonna go, is that there are so many different opportunities we're gonna be able to help that we just want to help. We just want to be a source to the world, like if we put our minds to pioneering us to helping other people. Like we were talking about what we're going to do to change. We don't need to know what. Life is going to put us in that circumstance where we're going to see a situation and like real life superheroes.
Yeah.
That could be the world. Real life superheroes. Let's go fix that situation.
Right. So you've made this sort of intention to go and put yourself out there.
Yeah. And that's why I feel like everything is happening as it should. I'm being led into the positions that I'm supposed to be led into. I'm getting to certain places at certain times where life put me there. It's not by coincidence.
Right. Wow.
So what do you think are some of the main causes of homelessness, and how can we raise awareness, and what is one thing that we can help to combat it?
The main cause for homelessness, I'm not going to be the best person to answer that. Okay. I can tell you what I've seen.
That's one thing I can commend of you being pushing it to people who do know.
Yeah, of course. But if you were to ask, hey, Yusuf, what is your thing? What I've seen, and then you can maybe elaborate more on this, is, we see a ton of vets who get thrown out on the streets, and, we're proud to see that they served our country. But then what is being done to help get our vets off the streets, I've seen circumstances where it's not in the person's control at all. Sometimes it's just not in the person's control, and it was just the cards they were dealt. And sometimes it's something with a family. Sometimes it's, something bigger than ourselves. And another thing is, you were talking about this earlier, mental health. A lot of people they don't get treated for what they're going on, what they have or what they're dealing with mentally, and they don't have the resources to help themselves out of that circumstance. So it takes them, out into the world, and we see them. We see a ton of them, and we just look the other way while they're dealing with a severe mental health condition, and they have no help for, they have no resources for. So I can't say, I don't know the exact, cause of it, but that's just what I've seen.
Do you know some things that like we can help outside of like?
Outside of just the little
because like you're giving them money, which is great, but I feel like that's just a temporary band-aid. Like you give them $20, great. That might help them for 2 days worth of food, or maybe 3. But then like long term, what do you think?
I don't see, when we give money here and there, I don't see that as like, oh, we just changed that person's life.
We fixed homelessness.
But guys, I'm showing that if you can help, it's better than not helping.
Yeah.
And by doing these little stepping stones, it's going to get us to the bigger stones, and we're just on that pathway. But something bigger than just something like that, we can have more resources for people dealing with mental health conditions, and really look into helping them, because then they're going to help themselves, and then they're going to be able to, get better, society, get back into society. And they're not just wandering the streets, talking to themselves like endlessly.
Yeah.
We can take it up to, we can, okay, so I've seen, like, I went to San Jose State, there was a halfway house across the street. You have some places, but I feel like there's so much more that can be done for the overconsumption of homeless people that there are.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like, they have to run to shelters every night, and some days it's full. Well, let's open up more shelters. Let's take this to a bigger level, and let's get more help here. Let's get more funding here. Let's try to help them, get to better circumstances. But something, even outside of this, and outside of what can we, but outside of this and those big things, I feel like, and I know this is what you were trying to avoid, but we as the people can do so much. Like so much. Like, how many houses do you see that people buy where it's like they have 30 bedrooms with 2 kids, or there's empty houses, or there's, places where we can help them, but if they're sleeping in front of a store, they get kicked out.
Yeah.
Gary, the homeless vet that I helped, he walked into a establishment, and they asked him, how fast can you eat that in?
Wow.
How fast can he eat it in? He has money. He's paying. He was good. He looked fine, but they criminalized him. They made him the bad guy because he was homeless. Homelessness is not a crime. Homelessness doesn't make you a bad person, because one day, somehow, one of us, somebody around us, can become homeless. But you know what's going to help them? The fact that they're around us and we can pick them up and help them. But what about the people that don't have somebody to pick them up? We have to try to help them. We got to try to do something.
Wow. I feel like, that hits a lot. One thing that I have kind of noticed is, I think we need to get pretty political, and you're not you don't talk politics, but I don't think this is a partisan issue where it's like Republican or Democrat. I think it's a thing where if we push to decriminalize homelessness, where we don't fine them for sleeping in areas or whatever. I mean, like, I've driven through some areas and cops are like busting down tents with their batons and whatever, and kicking these people out and writing people tickets. But the second point that you had, where you're like, it's the cards that they were dealt. I feel like there is a systematic thing that's put in place, one that could be a race issue, that, and even an economic issue of like capitalism, where some people just have like a ball and chain attached to their legs, given their race, or giving their background, or
there's
so many so many different layers. And I think there's this one city in Utah that eliminated homelessness, and because it became like a law where they were able to take people off the street, put them in homes, and help them transition into getting jobs and whatever, because it costs more taxpayer money to keep them on the streets, and it even goes into healthcare. Like, our healthcare, like when I dislocated my elbow, I was telling you the other week, when I dislocated my elbow, just to have it pop back in cost me $5,000 to go to the ER. Now if our healthcare is like super expensive, and you see these people walking, you see homeless people walking on the streets, sometimes their legs are swollen,
wheelchairs.
So, and it's like, if they don't have the money to go to like the ER, doctors will see them and they're like, I'm not going to waste my time on this. We're not going to get any money.
Do you think it's like a money thing, or you think it's like it's become a thing where it's like a sense of empathy. Is people don't have empathy for things like that anymore.
I feel like they're desensitized to it. You know, little kids walk with their parents, you know, from a young age, and when their parents walk by a homeless person, their parents grab the kids tighter and say, walk away.
Yeah.
If you don't think that's conditioning them to see that person as like, you know, the bad guy, they're going to get desensitized to seeing that. So when they see that, you literally get taught to look the other way.
Yeah.
Whereas if a parent, you know, raised their kid, and whenever they did something like that, hey, Charlie, come this way. Let's give this man some bread. Let's give this man some money. I can almost assure you when that kid grows up and they see a homeless person on the street, they're going to remember their parents doing that and saying, let me give back. Let me help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you mind if I give you some advice?
I would love it.
Okay. And I hate when people give me unsolicited advice, but as long as you're okay, take it or leave it, whatever.
Give it.
Shit, I totally forgot my advice.
Oh no.
Airbnb. Did you try Airbnb?
No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You're donating a lot to charity.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that is more effective in the long term. And then you said you guys are thinking about doing your own charity as well. I think advice, take it or leave it. If you really want to go with the fouseytube Foundation or whatever you want to go with, it'd be great. But there are organizations and relief organizations and charities that have been established for 20, 30, 40, 50, 80 years or whatever. And they've done the work. They have the policy. They have the manpower.
They might be better equipped
to be able to do something that you might do in one day, or what it will take for you to establish and do in like a month, they can do in a day. So, you know, if you do take in money and you want to continue donating, maybe put into like centers that help mental illness or vets or whatnot that can, or push it into a campaign. I don't know, man. It would be crazy if you got into politics and you start influencing. If YouTubers, I mean, you guys went to the White House, and not to make this political, but you guys went to the White House and they were kind of like, yeah, get into politics. But if you guys start putting like money in the pockets of people who you're like, who you can hold accountable for, they're gonna start like, the game's corrupt, man. They'll start singing whatever you say. You know, if you're like, hey, I'm gonna give you this amount, I'm gonna donate to your campaign, but this needs to be a priority. If you don't discuss homelessness, you're not gonna see that next contribution, you know?
And I think, that's an interesting point that you bring up, because a lot of times people look at YouTubers and
Was
stuff.
this advice or teaching me how to be corrupt?
I think,
how much House of Cards have you been watching?
A lot. The new season's very good.
I haven't watched the new season yet, but I'm just saying, you know, like if we want like solid change for future, because I know LA is really working
Maybe
on
not
it.
even a money thing. Take money out of it, right?
Okay.
See if you're looking at that as a corruption thing.
Influence.
When people look at YouTubers, they go, oh, the base idea is like, oh, you're just people who make videos, and then like teenagers are like cool, and then like that's it. And there is an interesting point to be brought up about, you still have their eyes and ears, right? You have their attention for that amount of time, and you have a lot more of their attention than normal politicians would, right? So if you did every time you do talk about these things, or talk about these specific issues, it can make, I think, a bigger difference than even spending money on a commercial. Like the amount of people you reach on an average video, a campaign commercial would love to reach that many people, right? So it's almost like taking your resources, and you can even position yourself in a way where, and you're kind of doing it through this already, you know, just by doing things that you like and that you actually care about, and that it has some sort of effect on an actual issue. You are, even if you're not, you know, making the intention of like, oh, I want this to happen, you are sort of through this making, you know, your viewers and kids who are going to grow up, and if they're not all voting age, they will be at some point, have that sort of empathy and sympathy for something that other channels or whatever may just be like pure entertainment, where they're like, oh, I just go to see this guy fall off a table or whatever. You do have that power, you know, that influence. Yeah,
you could be the most powerful YouTuber,
and that could be the new thing.
But that's just like suggestions, you know, like if you want to look into policy, you know, that will create lasting change, where like cities will be forced to tackle this issue.
Because people only hear the loudest voices.
Yeah. So again, take it or leave it. You know, it's just You're
already on the right track.
If we have a chance to talk to you, and bring these issues up, we'll discuss it. You know, like I want to address it now that I have the chance, because you're about to fly off into God knows what will happen to you if you'll even make it back alive.
Yeah.
Who
We hope you
knows?
do. We hope
But it's like, as long as I was able to have this face to face and be able to give you that advice.
Cool.
Let's transition out. So you've been friends with many YouTubers, you know, since the beginning. What have you learned during this journey that you didn't know about these guys?
You've been meeting them and connecting with them and having conversations with them that you otherwise would not have.
So the people I have met, it's been amazing. I've seen a different side to them, and we got to talk on and off the camera. Like, I've always wanted to be cool with FaZe, Rug, and Brawadis, but I would never drive to San Diego just to kick it. But with this journey, I was able to drive there, and I realized they're like my cousins. They're like my family. It's dope. And now I have a friendship with them. Tanner Fox, I didn't even, like, even though I knew I was going to his house because he reached out to me, a part of me was like, Yusuf, do you really want to go? I didn't know Tanner. But I have to say yes to everything now. So I went. He's one of my best friends now. He's the coolest kid I have ever met in my entire life. Like, he helped me so much. I look up to him. I respect him now. I love him. I appreciate him so much. He helped me. Another thing I learned is, but I've known this forever, the whole YouTube community, YouTube loves each other. All right. Well, let me show you how many unreplied texts that I got, you know, reaching out to people, you know, explaining them what this is about. And like, I'd love to hang out. Whereas normally they would reply. But now when I was reaching out, there was just no reply, not even to like tell me no.
Wow.
You know, and some of them, even my friends, like actual friends, where I've kicked it with many times and we've hung out. But now when I reached out on this level, there's nothing. But again, no judgment.
That's
so
wild.
I don't even look at it as a bad thing, but I'm like, if it's a no, tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me, you know? And I've gotten texts from YouTubers before and it's been like, hey bro, we don't even have to kick it. Let's just collab. I didn't collab with those people. I rarely collab. So on this journey, I'm like realizing that I'm hanging out with the people who I want to hang out with, but I wanted also to open up that door for the people I wasn't close with that I can get to know. Because I know there's YouTubers out there who don't like me and they just think Fousey, oh God, you know, and they turn their shoulders.
Yeah.
So I wanted a chance for that. But I didn't get that from a lot of people. And a lot of people, you know, turned me down before even giving me a chance.
Is that surprising to you?
It wasn't, but some of the people, like, it hurt a little bit. Like, just like, man.
I thought we were closer.
I thought we were closer. And when I sent them the text, by the way, the reason I brought that up, it wasn't, hey, I just want to collab. It was a really nice text. Like, explaining what I was doing and why I wanted to get to know them and why I thought it would be a cool idea, you know? But it didn't come back. And, you know, that's fine, though. That's their decision.
And if there's any place to say their names, it would be here.
Oh, no. I don't. There's no point to that. I mean, Philip DeFranco publicly said no, but that was public.
Yeah.
So I was cool with that. I even thanked him in my video. I said, cool, you said no. He said no. He was like, but I'll go out to get coffee with you.
Yeah.
So if that opportunity comes up, I'll go get coffee with him. But I had no problem with him saying no. I appreciated that.
Yeah.
It didn't come directly to me through Twitter, like, or anything.
It wasn't a text or a DM. It was just like a
it came,
public video. And you were able to settle some beef during this journey.
That
Some
was good.
like long, deep hate or whatever.
What was that like?
It was cool. I mean, I always knew, like, the beef that I have with people, I always, like, I don't have beef, first of all. Like, the people have had beef with me. The beef that I have had, which is the wars that I went on last year, I've let that go. And I wanted to actually get a tattoo that said let go, because anything you hold on is just toxic for your heart and your mind. So I've let that go. I don't care for that. But if the person is willing to, you know, reconcile, I knew that there wasn't any real issues. Like with Jesse, that was my homie for so long. So I knew, like, dude, can we just meet up and talk about this?
Yeah.
There were so many times where we would go through something on Twitter where I would text him and be like, bro,
What's going on?
What's going on? You were friends with me like the other day. What's going on?
Yeah.
And I knew that if we had just met, it would have fixed things. And what happened? We met. I think that was your favorite night, wasn't it, Daniela? Jesse's? We had the time of our lives. So it's like, just, you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, man. I feel like we've almost hit an hour.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, look, I don't know about your time frame.
I'm more than willing to go on.
We still have a few more minutes, you know.
Okay, so now moving forward. Okay, so you squashed all the beefs. You have come to terms with yourself, and this, you know, you've let go. You've become a little bit of a minimalist, and you're trying to say yes to everything.
I studied a lot of spirituality too through this.
Oh,
I
yeah?
studied a lot of Eckhart Tolle and even Osho. I probably say his name wrong, but, you know, I watched a ton of YouTube videos, read a ton of books on this. So spirituality was actually a huge help in this.
How so?
Being present in the now, and not worrying about, yesterday or things that happened, or worried about the things that we can't control. Literally in the now. Like I would practice, like seriously just sitting and trying to be present. Not in thinking what's my next thought or thinking where should I go next, what should I do next, who should I be next, what should I do.
It's just like if I'm sitting here, I'm sitting here.
To the point where a sip of this water becomes amazing, becomes the most beautiful sip of water ever because I was present for it. And I wasn't sipping this while thinking about what do I have to do next? What do I have to do? Or just, useless thoughts.
Yeah.
I found myself like, when you shower in the morning, you're showering, you're thinking so much, you don't even realize what you're doing. Next thing you know, you're dressed.
Yeah.
Like, how did I get here? Or you're driving and then you miss a whole song. You're like, oh, I missed it. You rewind it. You missed it again. Rewind it.
Do that all the
time.
time.
Where did you go?
Yeah.
Where did you go?
Yeah.
Most people aren't here.
Yeah.
Like when you go to a restaurant, you see somebody on their phone and their text, they're not here. They're not present in the moment. They're lost somewhere else. So I'm just practicing being present and accepting of that. And that's what's made me like grateful for everything. Because I don't have any expectations for what's going to happen. And I don't have any disappointments for what already happened.
Yeah.
So now when something happens to me, even on a large scale, what would have drove me crazy before, I just say, it happened. Is there anything I can do to change what happened? No? Okay, it's done.
What would you tell people who had the mindset of old you, who are going through that kind of thing?
So I got to a point, and this is important. I got to a point in my life, right, where I was making a lot of money. And the more money I got, the more unhappy I got. But I still wanted to keep making more money. So it was always a battle of mine of, why do you need it if it's not making you happy? So people always said like, man, you got the cars, you got the clothes, you got the money, you should be happy. But I wasn't. More money, more problems. I was unhappy, right? And then I realized my answer. If I was unhappy with this much money, no matter how much money I make on top of that, it's not going to make me happier. Right?
Yeah.
So if I'm unhappy here, no more money is going to make me happier. I don't need more money. I need to get to a point right here where I'm happy with myself and what I have, and then you're good to go. And then it all made sense to me. That greed of more got eliminated because there's always more. I bought my car. I wanted a better one. Lambo dreams, 2017 Lambo dreams. Yeah. I got a house. I need a bigger house. Like when I bought my parents a house. Oh, this house. I literally said in my vlog, hey guys, I know this house is not big because I was worried about the YouTube audience thinking that I didn't make a glamorous big YouTube purchase with the money. What?
Wow.
That house is so big. I should be so grateful for it. So to somebody who is living like me, be grateful for every single thing you have in your life. Don't be grateful for what you want or what you're going to get. Be grateful for what you have right now in all aspects. Your girlfriend, love her, cherish her, treat her like before you got her, always. Your phone, you know how when you first get your phone, you freaking love it, and then you start dropping it after a while, and then you say, oh, that piece of crap, I need a new one.
Yeah.
Nah, don't do that. Appreciate what you have and everything. If you only have a little bit of water, appreciate that water. Money is not going to make you happy. I don't care who says it does. Money is not going to make you happy if you're not happy with yourself and you're not love yourself. So before you do anything in life, I think you got to get to a point where you love yourself, you understand yourself, and you're aware of that, and you realize that anything that you tell yourself that if you had it would make you happier is not true, because you can be happy right now in your present moment.
Do you feel like this change that you've made, it's brought you closer to your family?
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. Because a great example of that, I used to go to dinner with my family, and anything that they did when it was just me, my mom, and dad would aggravate me. It would anger me. Yeah. I would get embarrassed when my mom was very specific about how she wanted her tea, no ice with the lemon or any of this stuff or whatever it was. I would just get aggravated, annoyed. Mama, stop asking that, all this stuff. And then I went to dinner with my family, and all that stuff that used to anger me was making me laugh. And it was making me look at them with kindness and not judgment. And all of a sudden my mom, who's the most, parents can be the most annoying things to us, was the cutest, most lovable thing ever. She was sweet. She's not doing anything with a bad intention, because now I started loving myself. I can see clearly. I can see with love, and I can give love and all that stuff. So definitely, I now understand. Now I know what it feels like to be loved, to accept love, to give love. Love isn't just smooches.
Yeah.
Love is me looking at you and talking to you and giving you attention. Love is me opening the door for you and just caring. Or love is you talking to me about your problems and me actually listening and not just waiting for you to be done so I can tell you about mine, or, you know, not even listening. Love isn't everything. So I really feel like I keep saying love is the answer. And I just think that is.
Now, at what point did you decide, okay, because the original idea was you're going to go and, you know, stay and talk to these other YouTubers and explore. At what point and what decision was it like, oh, now I'm going?
We got asked to go.
Really?
Yeah. And I said that I had to say yes. So I said yes. And even right now, I'm trying to battle it because I'm like, there's so much I could have done in the US still. Yeah. I didn't even go see Roman yet. There's so much stuff I didn't do. But I said yes. So I have to. And, you know, who knows? Like, people keep saying, when are you coming back to LA? Well, LA isn't home anymore. I don't even have a spot here anymore. Yeah. So I don't know when I'm coming back to LA because LA becomes as normalized as every other place for me.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Going with it. So if I get to, you know, where we're going, we get invited elsewhere, or, you know, something happens, I got to accept that ride.
How long do you see this going on? Just like however long the ride is?
Okay, I'm only going to tell you this.
Okay.
I haven't told anybody this. Everybody keeps asking.
Exclusive.
My goal originally was 30 days. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, nah, my goal became 60 days. And now my personal goal to myself, and I'm not saying I'm doing this. This is what Yusuf wants to do for himself, is 365 days.
Wow.
Amen.
And when I said that right now, I just became aware of something. The first thing that came into my head, the first thought that flashed, is that means I can't do work. I can't be in movies. I can't do anything. So the reason I can't hold on to that 365 is because what if something bigger than I know comes in?
But that's not necessarily hurting the 365. I think at the core of it, it's, you know, you accepting who you are and accepting opportunities. And I don't think that would get in the way necessarily, unless it was a project that you did not want to do.
I don't mean it doesn't coincide with my belief system. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, if I'm on a movie set, you know, and that's all I'm doing for the next like month or so, then I won't be able to do what I'm doing. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
But you know what? If I were to stress on that, I'm focusing on the future.
Exactly.
And I'm doing what I don't want to do. And that's why I've just been telling people,
if it comes, it comes.
If it comes, it comes. We'll see what's happening. I'm just doing this.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy that you're happy.
And it's funny because what I love most about this is, everybody doesn't know what they're going to get the next day.
True.
Like, you don't know where I'm going to end up. You don't know what's going to happen. It's literally open in the air. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And everybody in their heads has an idea of how long they think I'll last. Like, I asked Alex, I asked Aaron how long they think I'll last. Everybody has their own ideas.
Yeah.
So knowing that people have that, I love like proving people wrong.
Yeah.
I love surpassing people. So if somebody says something, even if I didn't want to do it for that long, I'm like, okay.
All right, I'm doing it this
Get
way.
ready.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have said that.
My last, what was the last question that was going to be?
It was,
what was my breakthrough?
Yeah, what was his breakthrough?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My question before the last question. This happens a lot during the summer. You peak in your like joy or your passion or your drive. What do you think you can do to prevent the fall off of like your self-destruction?
To sustain this level.
Not to hit the 2007, I'm going to quit YouTube again. What do you think?
Because we like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell Danielle all the time to like she knows that like I need like help through this. Like I can't give up. I have that person. But right now, what it is for me that's keeping me going, as cliche as this may sound, is the newfound support that I've received. And I'm not talking about in the sense of the views. Views on YouTube, like, look at Jake and Logan Paul. They're getting like 3 million views a day. Like that, like, people are killing it. So I don't care about views right now, okay? That's not my intention. What I care for is I became irrelevant to myself. I quit. I did everything. I walked away. I was the most hated YouTuber. You're telling me, because people kept asking me, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I said, I don't know. And I kept praying for a moment. You're telling me now, if I would have looked back when I was the most hated YouTuber to tell myself that I'm going to have this many people supporting as they are. And when I say support, I'm not talking about their view. I'm talking about people are sending heartfelt messages. People are tweeting me on the daily just about everything that happened in the vlog, saying how much it meant to them. People are commenting on the YouTube videos and showing nothing but support. They give a shit. They care. And I'm like, I'm taking it all in every day. And what I said in my 10 million subscriber video while I was crying in tears was, I promise not to take you for granted this time. Because in the past, I used to get so much support, but I felt entitled to it. I felt it was easy. Man, this is easy. Watch me clickbait this video and get 1 million views. I didn't care for it. But now, F the views. I got real people supporting me. Now I can look through my tweets because it's not hate anymore. It's love. Now I can look through my comments. So now they're counting on me just as much as I'm counting on them. So as long as they support me, I know this sounds crazy and I swear to you on this, as long as they support me is as long as I'm going to be able to keep going, because that morning rush that it gives me to upload the video and let them experience what they helped me experience and reading what they say about it is refueling me every single day. She sees it every single morning. Every single morning. Now I don't even see hate comments because they're so rare. Yeah. So if ever this becomes not fun anymore, because I become, let's say something happens in the world and they start hating me again, that will get me to be able to stop, because then it's not going to become fun for me. Yeah. But right now I'm creating content of love, with love, and getting love. Love attracts love. I'm going, and I'm going to continue.
Are you worried that this dependency on the feedback can be detrimental to you?
I see what you're saying.
Because
you're so reliant
on it.
That if it goes away, you go away too, which I don't think anyone wants that.
No. I'm not. Okay, maybe I see sometimes I word. I didn't mean I'll go away if they go away. But I mean, as of right now, like I'm not like, right now the support is here. Even if it went to here, but it was positive support, I'm going. I just don't want it to become a world of negative support where the people are watching just to dislike, where the people are watching just to tell me. The reason I used to, one time I went off on a dose of fousey rant. I was like, I'm literally making money and creating content for people who are bashing me. When I did that fake hair thing that I did last year, oh, that's what got me to quit. I forgot.
I remember that.
I forgot.
That's what made you quit?
That's what made me quit originally. I put the fake hair on, right? And I'm not going to lie, I loved it. As a person, Yusuf loved it. Yeah. Now, here's where the debate happened. I posted it on Instagram, and every comment was people hating on me and saying, you look like the guy from Dumb and Dumber. You look like a doofus. You look like that, right? So I stopped, and I was like, I had that moment of, I'm done. My job is not going to be to allow people to throw whatever they want at me. Just because I'm making more money or I'm getting stuff out of it, I don't care. I'm better than that as a person. I don't need to belittle myself to the point of just for relevancy or survival, I have to be the laughing joke.
Yeah.
So I got so mad at that where I was like, no. That's where the war between Yusuf and Fousey happened. No. Yusuf wants to be happy. Yusuf wants to do this hair. I'm not going to allow people to have that control over me. And that's when I just was like, deuces. Peace. But as long as it stays a positive world of support, I'm here.
Yeah, and I think as long as you're giving that out, it'll keep coming back at you. So we're closing it up. We would love to talk to you for a year, but you have places to go.
Countries
literally tomorrow. But what's so dope, I don't have to pack my bags right there. I can go anywhere. That's the best part.
Yeah.
The hardest thing was my dogs, but now that I know that they're safe, there's nothing holding me back here.
Right.
Anywhere you guys want to invite me. I'm free to go. That's beautiful. All right. You know how that feels to not have anything on your shoulders?
Yeah, just feel like I can go. So I think you did touch on it a little bit, but
you mentioned for us to find out that moment where everything changed. I feel like we dug, but I don't think
let's really get into it.
So I told you about that night at my parents' house, right?
Okay.
This was a week that
I was a little confused here. You're at the movies, but then you remembered a previous night that you're at your parents' house writing notes, right? Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, because the narrative would switch. I didn't know where you were. Okay.
I was at the movies
and you remember,
and I remembered those thoughts. Yeah. And I told myself, don't get a house don't go get a house. You're gonna keep living this cycle. That's what happened.
Yeah.
But a couple of days after that night at my parents' house, I told you guys I believe in spirituality and stuff, and I don't want anybody to look too deep into this. I hit my breaking point. I reached, I think, as low as I can go. Now, here's the crazy part. What does life do to you when you reach your breaking point? And that's where I feel like I evolved. And I felt light beaming into me. And I felt like something was happening. And I started laughing. And I felt euphoria. And I wasn't high. It wasn't me on Loopy medicine. I just started laughing. And I felt myself in the present moment for the first time. Eckhart Tolle always says, if you get those moments, and you're going to lose it, but just remember what that felt like. And I had that moment there. But what led me to get to that breaking point? The relationship. I went through a really hard loss in my life in all aspects. Not even just, I'm not talking about relationship in the sense of this, but just loss. And that loss, and then combined with everything else I went through that I mentioned, the loss with my agency, my management, my career, me leaving YouTube, everything, just finally, like, it just destroyed me. But you get to a point where life can't beat you down anymore. And you have a choice right then and there. Do you continue getting pounded in, and do you continue giving up, and do you continue feeling sorrow and hatred for yourself? Or do you evolve? Life made me evolve. And all that hardship that I went through, all that pain, all that suffering, all those, Snapchat rants about I hate my life and this stuff, all the years of everything came in that moment. I texted Humble right away in capital letters. I said, bruh, I'm going crazy. It happened. I'm enlightened. I'm evolved. I'm happy. I love life. He was like, enjoy this. Remember this. So because of all that pain that I went through that I thought was the worst thing that happened in my life, I thank every day for that happening. Had that not happened, I would not have got here. Yeah. Life was not treating me poorly. Life was treating me amazingly. Amazingly. When life is, rough, it's teaching you, it's growing you. Change is growth. Growth is change, and that's the best thing, and I think that we should all strive for. Mm-hmm. So once I got there, now I'm like, let's keep growing. It literally got to a point where I was talking to someone, and I said, when I was going through this, I said I never want to go through a breakup again. I thank God I go through a breakup again, because when I go through that breakup, it means I'm going to grow again. Yeah. Until I find the one. Right. You know what I mean? Like, don't be scared of going out and falling in love again because you might break up. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to fall in love. Yeah. And if I happen to be hurt by it, I'm going to grow. Yeah. And I want to grow. So don't be scared. Release the fear and grow.
That's actually like a big thing. Yeah. Like, I'm terrified of that shit. Yeah. I don't think I ever want to go through a relationship for that feel of that fear.
That's
of failure.
Why he sleeps under this table.
Well, when you do get to that moment and you want to join our journey, you're welcome.
Well, hey man, I'm super happy for you. Congratulations on 10 million subscribers. Yeah. Congratulations on this new excitement.
And we hope that you find a way to really keep on this and sustain it. And
thank you.
We just want to see more happy.
Thank you. I hope that next time I talk to you guys, I have more information on the charity. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can talk to you about future ideas of documentaries that me and Daniela plan to do together, and get you guys insight on that, and just continue to grow through this. So thank you guys.
We want nothing but the best, and if hopefully everything just continues to grow.
I think it will. We're happy for you, man.
All right, man.
And I'll see you on episode...
I don't know. This is episode 26.
I was talking about my episode. I was talking about the episode that we got going on every day on fouseytube.
I don't know what's going on right now.
Okay, so we'll see you when you get back from however long your travels are.
Thank you guys for having me.
That's if you come back alive.
He's going to come back alive. They can't kill him. He's too happy. Oh, my. Quite the transformation.
It's funny because when you came in, I was like, do you want this to be a short interview or a long interview? He was like, let's try to keep this shorter than normal.
And it ends up being long. You know why?
It was probably our longest.
When you get two cuties in front of you asking you the right questions, it becomes a long convo.
Yeah, it does. And it was great. Like, time went by real quick. Even when we told him it was over an hour, he was surprised. We were surprised. So definitely check out last week's episode that we did, or the previous episode that we did with Swoozie. The episode before that, we did our first live event with Hassan Minhaj. And we talked about his White House correspondence dinner speech. And that's about it.
Check out Fousey's channel for going on his journy.
I think they already know about this guy.
They already know about this guy?
They already know about this guy.
What?
Yeah. Check it. If you're about to hit the road, We're on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. And if you're listening to us on those apps, the video is also available on YouTube.
And check out our Patreon.
Our Patreon, pledge $1, get deleted scenes.
And shout out to our producer,
Sumair Khan.
Also check out my YouTube page, Ali Comedy. I'm posting new shit on that, man. Come on.
There, check him out.
That's it. So
Awesome.
we'll see you guys
And
next time.
When is Rec coming out?
June 20th, TBS, 2 back-to-back episodes.
Wow. Season 2.